Hey, there we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are out there.
Greetings, my excellent friends.
Greetings, my excellent friends. It's so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz. Today is March 8th, 2020. We're going to write a little bit of code today. Let's go in there, chat room. Copper Beardy is here. Ryan Warner codes with the boop. Happy Daylight Savings Time Day. Yes, Teal Old Man. Jean Valjean is here. That's coder 246801, in case you didn't know. Yeah. So good to see you. Rocket Propelled Freeman. Hello. My Philadelphia Flyers yesterday, whooped those Buffalo Sabres, those always tough Buffalo Sabres in ice hockey here in the United States, and we've got a commanding lead now. We've got a lead in the division. This is unreal. In 6 weeks, they've gone from 5th place now to 1st place in the division. They're on a tear. It's going to be tremendous. How's it going, Ryan Warner Codes? S&B is here. Hello. It's Litany as well. A bunch of members of the Live Coders team here. Hello. Good to see you. So, I've got a new hat today. I went out last night, got myself a 76ers hat, and they probably went ahead and lost to Golden State last night. This is a thing with them. They can't win on the road at all. Literally, they're the best team in the league at home. On the road, they're the worst team in the league. Literally, they have the worst record in the league away. There are teams that are tons worse than them that can win on the road, but my Philadelphia 76ers, my team, my town, my 76ers, that's one of their slogans. But the basketball team here in town, I don't know what's going on there. But I love the hat because it doesn't say 76ers on it. It just says Philadelphia. And to me, that's kind of cool. That's like city, that's like hometown pride. Know what I'm saying? So, Brave Cobra, hello, boys and girls. Good to see you, Brave Cobra. Hello. I wanted to spend some time today. I wanted to move off of the work we were doing on the Chromebook. We'll come back to the Chromebook, but I wanted to get more productive, and I feel like I'm at a point with some of the features we're working on with these Blazor components that it's going to be very productive for me to bounce into the web forms version of the project, run some samples over there, come back over to Linux, and build those things using Blazor. So we're going to need to bounce back and forth. So I'm going to use the virtual machine here today, and I'll run Visual Studio as well over in Windows, and we're going to bounce back and forth. But I do want to spend, this is minimal March. I want to make sure that we're building new code as much as possible on Linux with just text editors, just the features that the minimal features in the command line interface that folks need to get started and get running. A certain orange furry one. What are you talking about, Rocket Propelled Freeman? No. Let me get some music to code by playing here in the background. And today, let me play. This is Gold. There we go. This is music that's going to get you in the groove, going to get you focused on whatever task it is you're working on. Whether it's writing code, doing homework, writing documentation, chores around the house. Check it out, mtcb.pwop.com. You can execute the music command in the chat room and get a link to get your copy today. Thank you so much, Carl. We appreciate you letting us listen to your music while we write code together on stream. All right. Yes, what about Gritty? There he is. Thank you, Johan. Now, I also started, let me come back to this. I started a thread on Twitter. I like doing this. I like getting a little bit of discussion happening on the Twitters. The Twitters? Sure. About various things around .NET. And I pushed this comment yesterday. 2 weeks into Minimal March series, and I'm observing that .NET developers, and most .NET developers aren't very interested in Linux, and that Linux developers aren't very interested in .NET. It feels like there's a very loud 1% that is, hey, we need to be able to do Linux and .NET together. And that's a little bit of what I'm seeing and observing. Completely unscientific. Strictly the feedback that I'm getting on blog posts here on stream. Folks saying, I don't care that you're working on a Chromebook. It doesn't matter to me. Great, you can do it. That's not compelling. That's not interesting. Folks that are saying, well, okay, I use Linux so that I can deploy to it and save money. It's cheaper for me to deploy and use Linux on Google Compute, on AWS, on Azure, and I would rather do that. Right, running Docker with Linux containers, be able to do those interactions, so .NET Core is very compelling for those folks. Hucking Fackers!
Just resubscribed for 4 months.
Thank you so much for 4 months of support, Hucking Fackers. And we're going to make a donation to code.org. Thank you so much. And your main system is Linux. Well, that's terrific, Brave Cobra. But I'm not sure the rank and file, the majority, right? The folks that are engaging and talking primarily, right? I'm not sure that we're breaking through and we're actually showing folks that use just Windows and just Visual Studio. I don't know how much they really care about the fact that you can do that. The folks that have always wanted to be on Linux jump over and they're developing on Linux and they're pretty happy, and that's great. But the folks that are on Windows are happy on Windows and don't really care to make a jump over to Linux is what I'm perceiving. I'm going to allow that, but I'm not going to put it on screen. It's litany. We need to make sure that we're a little bit family friendly. You want to start learning .NET? Haven't touched anything like it since ASP Classic. Yeah, it's been a while. There's a lot of great stuff there. Not a problem. So, and Hugo, our friend Hugo, he's a moderator here. The silent 1% of the vocal 1% working on a Mac. Linux is closer to Mac OS. From a classic .NET Windows background, Linux Mac OS is Broadway. If I can make it work there, I can make it work anywhere. That's a great point there. And Daryl here says, stuck between worlds since they have to use Linux for work, but prefer Windows for personal use. Don't mind my dev work in either, but the real key is being able to deploy on containers. And I'm seeing this more and more, that containers are the selling point. This is, right, not having to manage a virtual machine, not having to manage updates, being able to deploy quickly, being able to start and stop things quickly, and not to mention cheaper, smaller impact, and the orchestration are all big reasons why folks like .NET Core in containers. Thank you for the follow. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, but I appreciate you joining us. You switched your personal PC to Linux from Windows, says Jara. That's terrific. Why? Getting your code to deploy to containers is definitely a hot topic. It is, and I see it as a hot topic because smaller, faster, and easier to reproduce. Right? You're effectively getting that App Store experience without the oversight of an Apple or a Google or a Microsoft that's able to go in there and say, no, you can't do this. Friends, JAF 1021 is here.
Hey, Mom! Can we get some meatloaf? We want it now! The meatloaf!
Meatloaf.
What's she doing?
I don't know.
I never know what she's doing.
I don't know what she's doing. How's it going, Mom? Good to see you. Mama C# Fritz and Papa C# Fritz are on a little vacation this fine holiday weekend. It's a holiday for them. They're in the Caribbean having a good time. How's it going? Good morning. Is it bedtime yet? No, it's not bedtime. Coding Bandit is here. Coding Bandit, Copperbeardy. They're members of the Live Coders team. Good to see you. We're getting the odd issue here and there. Don't like the fact there's privacy concerns and ads. Privacy concerns with what? And what ads? Holiday, Johan says, what holiday? They've picked up and just decided to go for a flight. Found often that when trying to run more enterprisey kinds of software, Windows is left out instead of Linux. Whoa! Hang on, Brave Cobra. Saying that enterprise software is more on Linux than on Windows. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. I'd love to hear some examples of what kinds of things that you can do on Linux that you can't do on Windows in that enterprise software space. because I've typically heard it the other way. So I'm not trying to make this a Windows versus Linux discussion, but there's places that I'm trying to understand why and how folks are making that choice to jump between the two. And I'm comfortable using Windows. I'm comfortable using Linux. I know how to use both. I'm more productive on Windows, though. Not the desktop, of course, but the server side. Continue. Cortana, searching in the search bar, giving odd results. You also prefer the GNOME look. Oh, you feel Cortana is giving you advertisements. Okay. I can see that feedback. Coding Bandit, it's not that you can't do things on Windows. On the Java stack, many of the web servers just work better on Linux. Yeah, I've seen that, Coding Bandit, yeah. Windows is banned in Daryl's office. Really? That's interesting that Windows is banned. Wow. I'd like to hear more about that. Why is Windows banned? Okay. So, it's interesting. Oh, because it's... Wow! Daryl! Windows is not secure. Yeah, get back to me on that one. Find me an operating system that is secure. And anything can be made not secure. It's not hard to do. All right. Let's see what we got here. Used to work on a Mac with Windows and a VM. Yeah, I agree with Coding Bandit. It's a tribal mentality. Seen it many, many times. Yeah. Yep. So, IT doesn't want to maintain another OS. IT doesn't want to maintain another OS. We're just Ubuntu and OS X. So they're maintaining two operating systems. Okay. Hey, Tolson64 Code Askew, good to see you. Doesn't want to maintain three operating systems, but they want to maintain... Okay. All right. Very interesting. Because the big complaint I hear about OS X is it's not enterprisey. It's not very... doesn't collaborate, the work group scenarios, the complaint that I hear is that it doesn't work very well like that. Had a customer once who had been Windows, wanted to make a Linux version of our software so we could use it, and refused to use Windows at all. Okay. See, I think I refuse to use Windows approach that you hear from some folks. I find it very interesting, and the question is why? And somebody's saying, well, it's not secure. I'd rather use Ubuntu. Well, I don't see how using Ubuntu is more secure. So, Microsoft Intune. There's all kinds of ways that you can control that. Trying to show that Windows subsystem for Linux handles all the Linux bits, but some people still think WSL is not real Linux. Well, Windows IoT sealed the deal for Kates, along with Windows Docker containers. Yeah. For a while, when I was young, when I was in college, 1997, 1998, I ripped Windows off of all my machines and I installed Linux and fought it non-stop. Constantly configuring, constantly reconfiguring. And I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to be doing this. operating system management is not what I want to be doing. I want to be building things. So I went to a less maintenance operating system, back to Windows. So using Ubuntu is more secure than using Ubuntu and Windows, says Blank River. I'd be curious to hear more about that configuration. Using one operating system is definitely more secure than using multiples, yes, because then you have to crisscross that boundary, absolutely. So, okay. I'm just trying to understand, trying to learn. I'm not saying one is better than the other in any way, shape, or form. But there's definitely you're handing off the maintenance of the operating system to somebody else mentality. If you want to take ownership and maintenance and configuration over everything, go for it. You can do that. Be happy. Do what you'd like. But there are people who, and this is something that I'm not even going to try to understand, but there are people who patently refuse to do anything with Microsoft stuff, and that's their choice. And I'm sure they're not watching this because I work for Microsoft. That's their choice. That's their concern. That's how they want to practice their career, their tasks, their technical approach. That's great. Go for it. Hey, is that Techie Rethor? Welcome in. Is there a story for the hat? Last night I went to the local shopping mall and had to get some athletic equipment for my daughter. She's starting track this week, and they had 76ers hats there. I like the hat because it says Just Philadelphia on it, so I went and picked it up. No one really clarifies what's not secure about it. This is what I see a lot. Zav is right. It's normally it's not secure. Well, now we know no Intel processor that was made in the last 15 years is secure because they found this new unfixable flaw in the processor. Great, just great. So, I'm debating trying to deploy an app on Ubuntu and WSL and fix anything broken. Not sure how that would go over. Yeah, okay. Swarzy, thank you for joining us. Robert Tables is here. Good to see you, my friend. Had a great phone call with Robert the other day. Wouldn't rule out learning from me just because of what I use or who I work for. Thank you. Get outside your comfort zone. That's how you learn. Try something different. That's why I tried working on a Chromebook here for a better part of a week. I learned some things about the operating system, learned some things about how it works. I need a little bit more power for some of the things that I'm doing here over the next few days. So we're going to be working on that for a little bit. Jara asks, what do I do at Microsoft? Let me put that up because I want to make sure I highlight this. What's the matter with your profile pic there? Oh my goodness. I'm a program manager on the .NET team. I focus on community outreach. I focus on putting together content to be presented at events. I put on this stream, but you've seen events that I've helped produce, like .NET Conf. I've been a host for sessions at Ignite. I help plan the Build conference. I help plan the Ignite conference. And place and kind of lead and provide feedback for folks that are building presentations to give and training curriculum that Microsoft publishes. So we do a lot. I do a lot to interact and show it. And that's why I'm asking, simple questions about, well, why do you choose to do your development on this operating system or that, or use this technology or that? Reno, let's see. Yeah, they do keep finding. Johan says they keep finding flaws in Intel's chips. I think the Intel chips are a real target right now, and the security researchers are looking at the instruction sets and trying to break them instead of operating systems, because they feel if you break the Intel chip, now you can. It doesn't matter what operating system you're on, you've got control over everybody. Reno says, I think I used to strongly be on the anti-Microsoft train. I'm going to rephrase that briefly here, and I'm not going to put it up because I want to be family friendly. But I've realized it is silly. Nowadays, I still prefer developing on OS X, but you wouldn't decline a job if it was Windows only. Okay. But best way to learn is to tell people you know that what you're doing and ask them to pay you. You learn real quick, says Ugg Squish. Thank you for the follow. Segoy Memes, welcome in. Thank you, Coding Bandit, for putting up a project line there. Kate's, I think maybe because these different operating systems are basically feature complete, the choice between them is now personal preference. Yeah, I think you're right on that. Johnny B. Cat, thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate you joining us with your Twitch Prime sub. Very cool. And mentioning my friend David Giard there. Hang on a second. Hang on. We'll talk about him in a minute, that David Giard. But thank you so much for the sub with your Twitch Prime. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, maybe you've got it so you can get free shipping. You get free videos that you can watch out there. You're already paying $5-10 a month for it. Link it to your Twitch account. You can then get one subscription you can use anywhere you'd like on the channel. If you choose to bring your Twitch Prime here, you're going to get 17 emotes you can use, like Gritty, like the rainbow bearded Paperclip and Octocat, and a bunch of different robots. You could throw emotes at my face, and most importantly, I'm going to make a donation to code.org this quarter. They're helping get teaching materials. There goes that rainbow bearded Clippy. They're going to get training materials into schools for kids to learn about science and technology. Thank you so much for your support, Johnny B. Cat. I appreciate that. Now, you mentioned that David Giard. David Giard is my nemesis. I playfully call him my nemesis. David is he's a tremendous developer. He does outreach working with customers for Microsoft. He speaks at a number of events in the Midwest and all over the country, actually. But there was some time ago we kept running into each other at conferences, and we competed against each other in this thing called Speaker Idol they used to do at Tech Ed. And we were in the same preliminary round, and you gave a 5-minute presentation. Judges would judge you a la American Idol, Pop Idol, depending on what part of the world you're in. And David beat me twice. And that's fine. Fine. He got a job at Microsoft shortly after that. I got a job at Telerik. Worked there for a better part of a year and a half, and I got a job working on the product team at Microsoft. And now I host a Twitch stream. I'm a Twitch partner. I'm a YouTube partner. Almost 10,000 followers here. Closing in on 7,500 followers over there on the YouTubes. And I've broadcast more than 1,000 hours of video here live over the past year and a half. Let me see what else is going on here. Blah 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 blah. Windows on ARM still safe. Yeah. But that David Giard, we're good friends. I've appeared on his podcast a couple times. We need to get him to come over here and give us a talk. Give us a talking to on the Twitch stream. Ugg Squish says, I mean, you work at Microsoft, you just need to know your keywords. Safe, solid, object-oriented programming on-prem to get at least in the door. No. No. It's not that easy. Telerik is where Coding Bandit and I first met. We were colleagues raising hell. Interviewed at Microsoft 6 months ago. They burned you on way more than that. Oh no. Interviewing as a developer for a developer position at Microsoft is not easy. Think about it. They've got their pick of the community because a lot of people want to work at Microsoft. Am I buffering? I don't know. I shouldn't be buffering. Do you see buffering? I did put a slight delay. I was seeing I needed a slight delay in my audio to get it to sync. You shouldn't see buffering from me. I'm pushing 6 meg a second out to Twitch. You should be good. All right, let's get back into our project here. We've done a lot of discussing, a lot of questions here. Yeah, ARM's going to be next. You watch. Very good point here. There's a 5-second lag. That's not too bad. There's what as you see the security researchers inspecting Intel, as soon as they turn their attention to ARM processors, that's going to be murder for folks like Android and iOS developers. You may see some very nastiness that comes down the pike towards those environments when the security researchers decide, hey, let's go check out and see if we can do the same things on ARM processors. Oh, we're going to have it's not going to be fun. All right. So the other day, what I was working on, what I got into is for our Blazor WebForms components. This is a project that's intending to build Blazor components. Those are modern user interface components that work on .NET Core. They can run server-side, or they can run in the browser using WebAssembly. But we're trying to emulate, we're trying to repeat the look and feel of the components, the controls that you originally had way back in ASP.NET Web Forms, with the goal here of giving folks the ability to lift their markup, paste it into Blazor, into a Blazor component, into a Blazor page, and get a good experience, get a good migration experience. I'm actually giving a presentation to the .NET team later this week about this. And we've gotten pretty far here. We've developed and we've built some components that work really nice. That's not right. That's the wrong format there. We should edit that. But we've been building out. We've got data lists, we've got a list view, we've got a repeater. We started working on a form view and we ran into an issue. We've got all of these validators. We've even got compare and range validator working. We have a tree view that works, and we have all the login controls work. But we need documentation pages for them. We've even added the data binder and a view state feature. It's not intended to serialize and push a bunch of garbage into the page like you're used to seeing with web forms, but to provide the same feature as what view state did of storing things inside of memory so you could fetch it later while you're in the same interaction with the page. So we have view state in functionality working, but not in implementation. And there's even a little bit of documentation behind there that talks about exactly what it does. So I hope what you're seeing about this project is that we're prioritizing a bit of documentation and testing with this that you don't see, right? We're not trying to just plow through and get all the features done. We're trying to also make sure there's documentation that comes with this to make it easy for folks to pick up and continue working. Fuel Snable says, the world would be easier if everyone was just nice. And authentication was just, who are you? And since everyone would speak the truth, there's no need for passwords. Oh, yes. Techie Rathor says, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I'm sure I'm not. What testing framework am I using to test this? So it was called the Razor Component Testing Library, but our friend Eagle Hansen has he's changed the name of the project. It's now BUnit. Let me go up here to the contributing because I link to that. Where is it? Tell us your story. Report an issue. Here it is. So I actually need to change this because it's no longer Razor Components Testing Library. If I go through to this, it's now called BUnit. It's a testing library for Blazor components, not just Razor. So it's a thing that okay, he renamed. Because we're on beta 6, and we've been using and providing feedback to him in his project, and it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good for us, helping to test and identify how things are working. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let me edit this. That looks bad there. Let me fix this right now. Right? That's weird. That's not... I don't get it. Why does it think that's formatted and not a part of this list? I don't get it. Right now that looks right. Is it because I put a tab instead of spaces? Don't you do this to me. Okay, so that... I'm still not quite right there. Right? Am I any better there? That's right. That's what I want it to look like. That's weird. Let me fix that. Fixed the button component link. There we go. Can I please link to this? Sure. This is... Here's the... There's the project. All right. So there we go. All right. So the problem that I was running into when I started with the form view component, and get back into actually writing some code here, was the form view has this idea of you put a button on it, and the button has a command wired up to it, not just an on-click event handler, right? When you click this button, go do this thing. There's also a command on buttons inside of web forms, and that command you'd specify a name, and that name would trigger the form view to change state. Well, we don't have that in Blazor. So how do we get that back into Blazor so that we have a command that'll trigger and change state? And that's what we're going to get into a little bit further today. So I even just added a little bit of a stub over here of what the button component that we're going to build does. I don't even know what that looks like yet. Let me pull in that change that we just made to the README, and we'll end up squishing this all together. I don't care that I've got an ugly log here now that has, who cares? We're going to get rid of that. We're going to clean that up. I'm already running tmux here. Notice the git tmux indicator isn't lit up over here. I don't think I brought that in properly. Oh, and I have to actually go get it for this operating system and processor architecture and all that stuff. Let me just grab that real quick. Right, get in your tmux status bar. This chalupa right here. I like chalupas. So I believe this is Nex86. So let me grab this one. Yeah, open that thing. And well, we're gonna extract. Let me put it right there, sure. And we'll move it into, thank you. Good, it's there. Go back over here and there we go. Okay. Let me do this. Hey, thank you for the follow. Is that Fussy8Info? Welcome in. I'm going to move gitmux to user local bin. Yep. do that. Now, let me see if I move over here and we do, well, there it is. It's already loaded. Look at that right there. Good. All right. I'm going to jump back over to this side. Go to dev Blazor WebFormsComponents. Now, because I've got the faster processor running here, I'm going to run the test all the time here so I can see the tests running. Where do I want to be? Scripts? I think that's it. Yeah. There we go. Cool. That's working. And we'll see the tests running over here. That's fine. On this side, I'm actually going to split this side. Okay. So let's do that. And I'm going to move this down and head over to samples. My after. No. I didn't spell it right. Server side. And I'm going to do a .NET Watch run here, so that the web server is running. It's on the bottom there, so I can see my tests running. I can see my web server running, and in the main panel up top there, I'm going to run Vim and jump through here. Make sense? So I should now be able to go into localhost 5001. No. There we go. And click on that button, and now I have a button here, and when I click it, it changes over to say I've been clicked. Big deal. Head back over to my browser. Let me go into that samples. After Blazor server side. This is pages, control samples. I think it's under button, right? Yeah. Alright. Now I don't have syntax highlighting. I don't have omnisharp running to give me that completion. No, we didn't solve the logging in B unit. Did not solve it. I've kind of tabled it, and I'll throw a question over to Eagle about that. Because it is throwing a bunch of the messages still. I'm effectively using a sledgehammer to turn that on and off. So at this point, this button has this on-click event that does this right on-click presentation. I'm going to jump over to here and go to... oh good, I am on. Alright, site, docs, Microsoft Com, and I'm going to look for System Web UI button. If I have a hammer, everything is a nail. Yes. Hey, boom, boom. You'd go with events rather than change state. Not that states are bad, but it seems disorienting. When you press buttons, you want to trigger stuff. Yes. So... that's, let me start here because I can get into the button object. So we're not changing state, we're raising an event, right? So here we go, command name, command argument, and it's on command. And on command is, right? Yeah, client script. That's going to be interesting to get into that. Come on. Oh, I was right there. Look at that. Declarative syntax. Here we go. So there's on command, and it's an event handler that runs instead of on click. Right? So if I scroll down here to on command, there it is. Raises the command event of the button. So let's take a look at this. This is what we need to be able to do something with. Oh my gosh. Friends. Everything is awesome. And don't. David Giard is here. Hello, my friend. It's good to see you. How's things? How's the weather in sunny Chicago? Is it windy? How about them Blackhawks? Something like that. I don't know. Warm and sunny. Yeah, look at that. Robert Tables is already saying, come on the stream as a guest. Tell us about how you whooped Jeff twice on the thing. Speaker Idol. Oh my gosh. And that was almost 7 years ago.
Coding Bandit gifted Giad a subscription. Coding Bandit gifted a tier 1 sub to Giad.
Thank you so much.
Gift subs in the channel.
Thank you so much, Carrie, for sending that over. So, David, you've now got a little purple hat next to you to indicate you're a subscriber. You've got 17 emotes that you can use throughout the channel, throughout the Twitch, including the rainbow-bearded Clippy, rainbow-bearded Octocat, and a bunch of different robots. And then, and you're going to learn about the end then. No ads on the channel, and best of all, we're going to make a donation to code.org.
And then?
See, there's the end then. Robert Table says, tried Madrinas yesterday on stream. Amazing stuff. He's a fan. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we thank the folks at Madrinas for their support, and I enjoy a little Madrinas coffee here on stream. Our friend Alex is going to be back to join us in a couple weeks here on stream, and if you saw last time, we did some sentiment analysis on tweets about Madrinas, so we could learn a little bit more about where folks were on a map and when they like and the different things they say about Madrinas, positive and negative. And we plotted that with Power BI. Really neat stuff. Yeah, Alex will be back with us in a few weeks here. So we're talking about how do we re-implement the on command but for Blazor so that it looks like web forms. So it feels like we're going to have to create an event handler called on command. But the question is, does on command and on click trigger? I don't remember if you get both events triggering or if it's just one or the other. And when you have a command, it has a name and it has an argument. And I believe those are static, or you can programmatically set them. So I think we need to set up both. Let me keep scrolling down here. This is great. I love all the sample code here. Notice they don't have any on-click event handlers for these. Right? The command event is raised when the button control is clicked. The event is commonly used when a command name, such as sort, is associated with the button control. This allows you to create multiple button controls on a web page and programmatically determine which button was clicked. And it bubbles the event. That's the key here, is we need to bubble this event up so that if our command button is inside of the layout for a form view, that the form view receives that event and is able to do something with it. Exactly no content. This is to help folks transition from web forms to Blazor. Exactly no content. That didn't sound right at all, did it?
Inconceivable!
Okay, so we're going to try and make this easier for folks to do is the goal, no content. So in order to get some of these components to work together, I need to have this button that has the command feature, but there is a button already. We're going to extend it and add these additional features here. So I think, scroll up to the top, please. Thank you. It has command event args is the parameter. All right, so what's the parameter here? These are event arguments. Right, event arguments is just a way for us to wrap up. Well, here's the things that happened when this event was triggered. So let me scroll down here. I'd like to see the properties, please. Thank you. Command argument and command name, and I bet you these are both strings, aren't they? I don't like that I have to click through here. No, it's an object for the command argument. Okay. And the command name, is that just... Yeah, that's a string. That makes sense. All right. So I see a couple things here that we need to implement methods. There's nothing there really interesting. And the constructors... well, that's just crazy. All right. This kind of makes sense. Let's see what we can do here to start implementing this. So David, are you have you been sequestered like the rest of the Microsoft folks, working from home? Sequestered's the wrong word, but it feels so right. And this is Vanilla Cappuccino. I've been really enjoying these ones. I haven't been able to get my hands on any more of the Cafe Mocha from Madrina, so I need to make sure. You almost always work from home anyway. Nice. Yeah, all of our travel was pretty well shut down for a bit here. So I'm walking up the hierarchy here. Gonna jump over to source. So here's the components. Oops. There we go. And we're gonna end up creating a button in here. But we're gonna create a button. And we're going to be able to handle this. Trip to Charlotte was canceled. Yeah. My trip out to Seattle for MVP Summit was canceled. And we're going to see about my trips in April. See if they still make it through. I need to actually create some of these first here. So let me back out here. Before we start really implementing and going after that button, I want to lay out exactly what this is going to look like. Is that enough? Nope, I didn't go up far enough. So I'm going to go into source, BlazorWebFormsComponents, and let's start. So we're going to have a button. We're going to need to output some. Do we need to output Razor? Output HTML from this? Yeah, we do. I guess, right? So, all right, let's have a button Razor, and let's also create some C# content to go with that. And now, let me work with the button Razor CS to start. We need namespace. Right, Blazor Web Forms Components. Nope, wrong way. I want to open here. There we go. Public class button. It's not a data-bound component, so I'm going to call this a base web forms component. I've already got a class out here that has some of these things built that we're going to need for this. Hello, I hit escape. Oh, look at that. It popped me down. Alright. There we go. So, we need an on-command event handler. Stir Trek is still a go. Fantastic. Boom Boom asks, Chrome OS is a flavor of Gen 2. I don't know. I was seeing that the Linux that Chrome OS brought in was a version of Debian. Dev Intersection in April is still on. Yes. At Disney in Florida. Yes. So this component, right? This should have started rebuilding when it's all these files added. Let me also create, right? So we need that command event arguments. What was the name of it? Yeah, command event args. We need those. So I'm going to create that file. Let me vim into that. Right, there we go. All right, namespace, Blazor Web Forms Components, and we're working all in Vim right now because we're showing that you can have a minimal experience here and still have great .NET development on Linux Take care, Johnny B. Cat. Say hello to the doggy for us. Working on Star Trek graphics. Oh yeah, very cool. So this is what file is this? Command event args. So this is a class command event args. We're going to inherit from event args, which means I also need a using system statement up here, right? Now, let's create that constructor. I don't have snippets, so I actually need to type out, right, the constructor by hand. Command event args, and there were two of them. So there's a command, right? This is like command name, object, command argument. Thank you for the follow. Zero Dan 1, welcome in. Thanks for joining us, Dan. Thank you. So I'm gonna have a command name and a command argument, right? Thank you for the follow, Kevin746. Yeah. Welcome in, Kevin. You rebooted the Pi to get out of Vim? Oh, coding bandit. Command name and command argument we need. All right, so let me come down. No. Why you do this? Come here. I'm already in insert mode. Look at that. All right, fine. So let's create a property string command name. Yeah, get set. Public object command argument get set. I hit escape and it jumped. Why did it? Come on now. Thank you. So let me insert here and we'll say command name equals this command name. Command argument equals the command argument that was passed in. Good. I need another constructor to make the API match. Public command event args, and it took in another command event args, something like that. So I can say this dot command name equals args dot command name. There we go. This dot command argument. What do you think? I mean, this feels kind of weird, but right? That should be a thing. And it's still not recompiling over here. Why aren't you recompiling? Recompile. So now that I have command event args, let me go back into the button over here, right? I thought I started, I guess I didn't save that. Rats. All right. We're gonna have to type it back out again. Namespace, BlazorWebFormsComponents, public class button, and it was inheriting from base web forms component, right? So now I should be able to have a public. Hey, Mr. Demon Wolf, thank you for the host. Good to see you. Robert Tables asks a good question. Are there decorators or something for this kind of boilerplate in C#? You're looking for like a template generator. No. It's a good idea that there should be able to say .NET new class and generate that class file with the appropriate things here. It would make perfect sense. But that's a little bit of what Visual Studio gives for you, is it generates all of this. Curious Drive asks, is Blazor Web Forms Components a Razor component library? Yes. I would like to use it in my projects if it has controls that I could use. It does, but the controls are intended to mimic web forms. They're not necessarily going to give you cool new features, but they're going to give you the ability to copy your web forms markup and get it working quickly in Blazor. That's the goal of this. So you can use it. It is out there. Check out the project. The link to the project is right there. There's a NuGet link for you to download if you'd like to. And if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link to the project just below in the details as well. SharkDeed. C# and Vim is actually not that bad. Been using neovim on terminal with omnisharp Vim. It's extremely fast and snappy. Also better than Visual Studio Code. Oh, also better than Visual Studio Code?
Inconceivable!
Really? But way too far to get close to actual Visual Studio. Yes. It's not quite there. But there are some folks who are really fast with Vim. Fantastic. Use the tools that make you happy. Definitely use omnisharp with Vim, right? Why am I blanking here? I need to oh, come on, I don't have another well, that'll explain it. I'm not in here. No. I thought I was able to... Where did that... Hello? Why don't I have my multiple workspaces? I popped out. There we go. Go down here. Open another one of these. No. Go down here. Open another one of these. And, there we go. I wanted to look at another component. Like that. Yeah. I wanted to look at how, like, list view did. List view, Razor, CS. I want to take a look at how the event handlers are done over here. There it is. Public event handler on layout created, but it's an event handler of type something. All right. I want that one. Okay. So public event handler of type command event args, right? And was it on command? What's the name of it? Yeah, on command. Fantastic. Which means I'm receiving command event args. Right? Do I have that right? Actually, it's set up as a property there. And that's not right. That's, we need to fix that. Here. So, okay, this becomes a property. Alright, alright. I'm feeling it. Which means that it has a parameter. Right, this is a parameter that can be passed in, which means it's a parameter placed on the component itself. Like an attribute. Take care, Dave. Good to see you. So, alright, I have a parameter there, which means... darn it. I think I need... Is it... shoot. I'm going to need another using statement for that. Right? Microsoft ASP.NET Core Components. Here... That one. Microsoft ASP.NET Core Components. I should probably also put using system on this. Yeah. There we go. Now it's building right here. Nope, failed. All right, what was the error? Why isn't it scrolling? I'd like you to scroll, please. I thought it was... Right? I thought it was control or one of the brackets, and it would get me to be able to scroll in there. Right? Where is it? Tmux vertical scroll. Come on, show me. Scroll up. Just control up? No. See, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Right, because there was something with the left bracket. No. No. Robert Tables, you had the key on this. What was it to scroll with the mouse wheel? No, you can't do that. Set -G mouse on to capture the mouse event. Really? Can we do that? Let me cancel that one. Capture mouse wheel. Okay. So if I do that, config reloaded. Hey, look, I can scroll. Nice. With my mouse wheel. A missing partial modifier on declaration of type button. Oh, right. Right. All right, before I tell it to start... No, I can have it do that. That's fine. This should be a partial here. Should rebuild and build successfully this time. Right. Come on. Woo. There we go. Good. Hey, Stelzy, good to see you. Right? That's a thing now. Okay. So now I've got an on command, but I need to add those other two things, right? For I'm going to need the string for command name, and that took a long time. That's a parameter. This is going to be a parameter for public object command argument. Now, why did it indent it all the way back there at the beginning? Okay. So now when the on click happens on the button, we want to kick it up the stack. Boom Boom asks, what flavor of Linux does Microsoft most contribute to? They contribute to the kernel directly, and they've started their own version of Linux, their own distribution that they're building and using for Azure. They also make Azure Sphere, which is a Linux distribution intended to run on IoT devices that is completely built, managed by Microsoft, and intended to give a very secure interaction with Azure devices, Azure services in the cloud. But they do contribute, as Johan points out, directly to the kernel. So it's not one specific flavor. I think you'll find that many Microsoft folks prefer Ubuntu. Red Hat folks like a lot as well. There is a partnership with Red Hat, so that Red Hat distributes .NET Core with Red Hat servers, and Red Hat is a member of the .NET Foundation as well. So, good question. Thank you. And I'm running Ubuntu here, and I was running Chrome OS earlier in the week. So all the same configuration, and now all my dot files are updated out on out on GitHub. You can download and check those out. See how I configure my this thing, how I configure my Linux. So if you put a button on the page, right now, here's the other thing. Let me go down here and let's restart. It might. No Gen 2? No Gen 2. Let me restart the service here, because now funny things are going to start to happen, because that button component that I had on the page, well, might not be a button anymore. Right? So that still works, which is interesting because it's a button. But is it a Blazor Web Forms button? Or is it? So, hey, Frank's here. Ubuntu has such a huge community, it's nice. Yeah, it is. So I have the button component here. Let me open a new terminal. New tab. I can do it like that. There we go. Too much. All right. Dev Blazor this. I know I can do multiple windows in Tmux, but I don't know how to. You know what? Let's just do that. Time to learn something new. How do we do a second window in Tmux? Why am I searching off screen? How to add a second. It's probably in one of those Tmux shortcut pages, right? There we go. That's not how you spell window. That is. Great window. C and N and P will get you around the windows. All right. So let's give that a try. Cool. And I can see down at the bottom the differences between them. All right. I'm feeling it. So let's go dev back here, because I wanted to look at the actual button page inside my samples, right? Pages, and not BIM. There we go. What was that? Hey, how's it going there? Is that Rafalix? Welcome in. The Chromebook's still working. I need to bounce back and forth a little bit to Windows today so that I can see and work with some of the web forms features. So I'm not on the Chromebook today, but it works great. Gen 2 is a bit of extra maintenance, just a bit. It's a lot. If you like to compile everything from scratch. Very much for the operating system hobbyist. There's a lot you can do there. A lot. Now, I wonder if it didn't trigger that as the button. So wait, if I go previous, next, and I'm seeing the little star down there showing me which one I'm on. It'd be nice if it had a title. Can I change the title? Can I name the window? Oh, I can name the window. Ooh. All right, hang on. So let's do this. Let me pop down into this one. Close this. Let's even close this window. And call this, I can name this, can't I? Control A, comma, yeah. Let's call this, components. Right? And if I go to the next window, and I can rename this, and let's call this samples. So I can see whether I'm working on the samples or not. So let me bust open the bottom of this window. Or do I put, yeah, let's bust open the bottom. So I'll do this. Move this down just a smidge. And I'll go to here, there, samples, and .NET watch run. So now my samples are running in the web server here, and I've got the source code for the samples up top, so I can see the difference between the two. Okay. So, and because I'm .NET watch, running .NET watch, if I come up here and I change this, what happens if I change this to capital B? Does it behave differently? See, now it's restarting because I updated one of the files in the project. Building everything from source builds character, and it keeps the electric company happy. The customer that Johan has works with is using Chromebooks with Citrix to work on Windows. Interesting. They're using, so you can use the Chromebook to remote desktop to Windows. Nice. Okay. That's an interesting approach. I did not know you could do that, Johan. Do you have some, can you link some instructions to that? Because that would be something cool to show and be able to work through to make that development easier. I agree. I'd rather build value for the end user. So that rebuilt. Let me go back over here. And this one. Yep, reload. See what happens. Bingo. This is what I expected to happen. Haha. Did you see? We changed the component. So instead of being all lowercase button, initial caps button is different. Instructions to use, so that gets you Citrix from Chrome into Windows. Yeah, what about remote desktop? I would need to run Citrix on the Windows machine also. Citrix isn't evil. Evil's a strong word. Some folks just, they're not comfortable with that, and that's okay. Who's this? Let me see. Let me unban. There's somebody here that was on the ban list. Let me. That. And there's a question there. And I'm happy to look back on that chat history. I can't see it yet till you post something. Remote desktop with Google. Where'd it go? I want to look at the moderation. Yeah, I can't see it. But there's a question here. About have I ever used Google Cloud? No, I have not. And my employer would prefer I didn't show other folks' clouds here on stream. There's nothing wrong with them, but because of employment, they prefer I didn't. So where was I? So that changing button from lowercase to uppercase doesn't work. Yes, and considering I get paid to be on here, I'm going to stick with the party line there. There are things that I will criticize my employer for, and some are constructive criticism. It's usually constructive criticism. Some are legitimate bug reports and issues that should be addressed to improve. But there are things that we're not going to show. Trezzy Codes is here. Trezzy's a member of the Live Coders team. Good to see you. Hello, hello. All right, so the change from lowercase to uppercase, that being a thing for this button component we're building, I'm okay with. I'm okay with that being a differentiator here. I made you jump there? Sorry about that. Come on now. It's not that bad. It's
illegal in 9 countries.
It's illegal in 9 countries. There you go. Let me see. So I'm okay with having the text change there. Great to see so many live coders here. Yeah, it's Litany. Aren't you a live coder also? Do I have that right? I can't remember. I thought you were. There's 120 members now. I'm trying to remember everybody. Yeah, that's right. Very good. And Mr. Demon Wolf was popped by earlier. They're a live coder as well. But I need to pass on the markup to the actual button object itself so that we can handle and interact with it appropriately, right? So I still need to handle that on click and make sure that that continues to work, right? So let me go back here. So this is in the markup. Markup, polo. Markup, polo. No, that's not a thing.
Squirrel.
Okay. I should capture all of the properties that are set on this. So many shout-outs, indeed. Robert Tables is still here. Let me see. So let's do... Is it parameter? I forget what it is to capture all the there's like Blazor parameter capture unmatched, right? There's an argument that you can put on the parameter to capture unexpected, the extra stuff. It's not on routing. It's on like parameter. Right, there's like the unmatched Blazor, right, capture unmatched parameters. I forget what it is. That uptime looks suspicious. It's the virtual machine not restarting. There it is. Attribute splatting, capture unmatched parameters. Here it is. I don't want to see the pull request. Show me. Oh man, this is the docs. Right, it is parameter. We're receiving a dictionary. is it? Capture unmatched attributes. There it is. And it's a dictionary of string object. That's what I wanted. So we're going to paste that in. This way, any other attributes on the button that we don't recognize, like the on click, we can capture and delegate. It's not a 24-hour stream. No. So let me see. Let's make this a public, right? Dictionary of type string object, and let's call this. Oh, wait a sec. Other parameters. I might already have this. Let me finish that thought. I might already have this on base web forms component. Do I? I do. Additional attributes. Okay. So I don't need it back on the button. So let me get rid of those. No, not 22. So I need the razor implementation of this to actually output a button. Oh, I started typing without the insert first. Right? And if there's any child content, I need to copy the child content out as well. So there's a bunch of things we're going to have to build here. Do we need the on-click to be handled? See, it didn't rebuild the project here yet. But that on-click... Yeah. I need... It's Litany says, if I hit 10,000 today, will I add 12 hours onto my current end time? No. I would schedule it for this week, though. We're 149 followers from 10,000. True story. Can I take a second here, friends? Can we back up for a second? Hello. My name's Jeff. Good to see you. Welcome in, friends. That looks like my office. It's not. It's fake. It's just a picture because I have a green screen behind me. See? There's a green screen. Anyways, so yesterday I'm at the post office. I went over to the post office, as one does when you've got 8 different things you've got to ship because of raffles and things that we've done here. And I'm there, and I've got backpacks. I've got hats. I've got stickers. I've got all kinds of things to send out. And the line literally was out the door. I couldn't believe it. It was going to be closing in an hour, so they weren't even going to be able to see me. Anyway, because I wasn't even going to get in the freaking door. I'm such a phony. Look at this, right? Oh, you think that's good? Wait do you see this? Wait, have you seen this? There's a thing I can do here. So, here in Channel 9, that's totally a thing. Such a thing. So where was I? So I have the stuff. It's all bundled up, ready to ship. I'm going to go back over tomorrow morning and we're going to ship those things out. It's definitely a thing that we're going to get things shipped out. It's ready to go. I have everybody's stickers, everybody's things ready to go. And yeah, I'm much taller on Channel 9. Okay, that's my TED Talk stage. Yes, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let me see here. All right, so it's coming. I have it all ready to go. We're going to send stuff out to friends. Darn Skippy. There's Frank. Frank's another member of the Live Coders team. There he is. I am such a phony. I am so phony. So let's do this. All right, so if I'm going to have a button here, I need to have the on-click hand things back. So what I'm thinking is, where did my mouse go? My mouse isn't over here. What did I do? All right, go back over here. I think I need that on-click event handler. as well, right? Parameter, yeah, right. Public event handler on click. Go back over here. There's an extra tab in there. Get rid of that. Wait a sec. I've got two. How'd that happen? How'd I do that? I've got two panels open inside of... How did I split Vim? What do I do? Now how do I get to the bottom one? What did I do? Control WW? Oh, look at that. All right. Well, that explains why I got over it. Thank you. Yeah, colon Q will get you bounced around here. So I feel like I need to conditionally add the attribute for on-click if there's an on-click happening, right? Yeah. Which is going to be weird to do that in the middle of, but whatever, right? No, don't do it that way. Bad idea. I'm hitting escape. Oh, come on. I'm trying to join lines. There it is. So maybe I do, right, at on click, but I want to output the at. Do I need a second one of those? Maybe. Let's see. Insert. And what I can do is I can, yeah, I do. Oops. How'd I get over there? No. See, I hit, I'm hitting escape to try and exit edit mode. Right? This, and I want to do, at on click. If it does not equal null, right? I want this to be like that. Otherwise, it's null. Is that a thing? Does that work? Hey, Flav, good to see you. Mike, what Mike? Robot Mike. Did I? No, I didn't activate the voice changer. Even then, the voice changer isn't set on this. That didn't. Type of conditional expression cannot be determined because there is no implicit conversion between lambda expression and null. Right. So maybe I need another lambda there. So maybe this becomes like that. Let's see how that build works. And if it does work, then we'll just bounce over to the integration test and see. Nope, didn't work. Between lambda expression and lambda expression. Yeah. Maybe, all right, so maybe I'm trying to check if the thing is null and then decide. Maybe I turn this into we do this. And if it does not equal null, see why I'm hitting escape, and it's like tmux is picking up escape as the indicator key. Otherwise, right? I don't want it to do anything. Just void. Invalid expression term void. I want it to do nothing. Can I do just on-click invoke? Yeah, sure. I think we can do that. Sure. Right. Do that. That feels like it could work. What do we have? Show me. Nope. Cannot convert lambda expression to type bool because it is not a delegate type. What? On line 22. Oh, wait a sec. This one. Where do you see line 22 there, chump? Show me. Nope. What? Line 1. No. Not a delegate type. Yeah, how's it going there, Ashish? Yep, absolutely. Why the double at? Yeah, maybe we don't need the double at. Do I have sender and event args? No, they're different in Blazor. There's no argument that corresponds to event handler invoke. Right here. So we need event args.empty. Since I am doing an invoke, yeah, we need to pass stuff down. There we go. I think we got it that time. There we go. So now, does that work? Right over here. Yeah, look at this. Build failed. So let's rerun that. Since the component changed further down the stack. There it is. Now my sample is running, so you go away. Refresh this. Do we get a button? Oh no. I've gone too far. Ooh, that's not good. Now I really broke it. No. I got nothing coming out. Well, that's not right. Alright, what did we break? Ooh, look at all that down there. Alright, hang on. Fail. Request ID. Unhandled exception was thrown. Unable to cast object of type event callback, mouse event args, to system event handler. Yes. Okay. So this is a Blazor event callback and a system event handler. So what's happening here? Yes, Zulu King, we are on Ubuntu. So what's happening here? This is an event callback. This here, right? All right. Let me go back up here. This isn't an event handler here. This is that event callback. No, wait. This one. Where'd it go? Which, right, event callback of type mouse event args. Okay. Mouse event args. Which, right, these aren't a thing.
Scott, I'm new here.
T-Pro Senior, thank you for joining us with Twitch Prime. Very much appreciate that. Thank you for the sub. And we're going to make a donation to code.org. We got error over here now. What do we got? Mouse event args could not be found. Mouse event args are ASP.NET Core Components Web Mouse Event Args right there. Yes, I know. So I need a using statement. Okay. That wasn't it. Using Microsoft ASP.NET Core, and what was it over here? I tried to copy it. ASP.NET Core Components Web. So let's see, this one should compile now properly. Come on. Here we go. Have I seen the file explorer called Ranger? Terminal-based file explorer and can show images and PDFs. No, I haven't. Do you have a link for that we can share? No. Event callback. Okay. So, right. So it's telling me the question mark here we can't do. This right here. What is the program below the terminal in the sidebar? Where? This here? No. What do you mean below the terminal? Oh, wow, that looks mighty impressive. All right. The icon on the left. That? That's the list of applications. Or this one. Oh, that's screen keys. That's what's showing the hotkeys that I hit as I'm working here. There was a way that I did this. It was, oh my gosh. Source, these, and I think I did it in the list view where I conditionally fire event handlers. Right? On data binding, invoke async. It's just invoke async right there. Event args.empty right there. So get rid of this. Async event args.empty. Now, I think I need to wrap this. But let's just see if we can get that to fire. I think we're going to need to wrap this so that if there is a command object, we trigger the command object and move on. No. Can I convert from system event args to blah, blah, blah? To mouse event args. Right, I don't have mouse event args. So can we just say new mouse event args? Ah, come on, man. Come on. Can we do that? And I want to go back into my tmux config, and I want to unbind that escape. Question from just a viewer while this is building. Can you install NuGet packages from Vim? Yep. Give me a second here, I'll show you. That built, okay. So, wait a second. Is that letting me click back and forth? It is. Oh, that's handy. So, I could, right, do .NET add package, right? Foo, whatever. And it's going to run and do that install. There is a foo? There's a foo. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't want that in my project, so I'm going to go remove it if you don't mind. There's foo. Let me scroll down so you can see it. There it is. But let me go back down to this one. So that looks like it works. Is there also a bar? I'm not going there, Naked Flame. I don't want to figure that out. I can't believe there's a foo. Of course there's a foo. Wouldn't you expect there to be a foo? It's like the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects there to be a foo. Get me back into that Vim. There we go. Right?
What's that?
There's a foo. Can you believe it, Jack?
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think would fly. Think.
Okay, there's a foo. Who knew? Wait a sec. That's better. That's where I want to be. Okay, so that should still work, right? Because I've now passed things along appropriately. There it is. Now, I don't actually have text in the button yet. We need to put that text back in there. So let me go back over here. Right, we need the child content for the button so we can put it back in the button. That sounds weird. Trust me on this. Public, is it render fragment? Child content. I think that's what it is. I didn't want to write that, but all right. Go back to the other one. Is it? No, it was in the tree node. Dot, yeah, razor CS. Where is it? The child nodes. No. Tree node collection. There it is. That's where we're going to find it. Contains copy to. What? Right, there's a child content. Where the heck is it? Tree node collection. Yeah, render fragment child content. That's it right there. Public render fragment child content. So that's the content inside of it. So down in here, right here, at child content. I think I need to. I did it again. So that's going to rebuild. Should build successfully. What about music from the Foo Fighters? No, can't do that. Winter lore games. That's a very good question. Why do you need to use that parameter attribute? Never seen that before. So when you're building Blazor components, when you put this attribute, this parameter attribute on it, it's what it does is it gives this component the ability to receive that as an attribute from HTML. So if we look over here, the component that we're actually right, that we're so we're building this button here, and it has an on-click attribute. Well, I want to capture that. So on-click will be captured with that parameter, right? That property, and I'll be able to process and do something with it. So that's what that parameter attribute does, is it helps to capture that. Johnny B. Cat asks, child content, is that a child safety feature? No. Child content, this is a render fragment. It's a fragment of HTML that we're going to capture, and we're going to be able to pass along to our markup. Child content says anything that's inside of this element, inside of the button element, we're going to capture that and pass that along. And the error that I have over here is the name child content does not exist in the current context. What do you mean it doesn't exist? It's right there. Did I not write things out here properly? Right? Yeah, it wasn't saved. So, didn't have that parameter, that property defined. Let's see, let's get that defined and in the mix here. No, there is no argument given that corresponds to the required formal parameter builder of render fragment. Okay. Do that again. Let's see, get this building. T-Pro Senior is citing the Matrix. I'm going to ask you to sit down, but you're not going to anyway. And don't worry about that. And don't worry about the foo. What foo? That foo. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Let's see what's happening over here to this. There is no argument given that right. So it didn't rebuild after I changed that, so let's force it to rebuild. All right, take care, Johnny B. Cat. Best of luck with your reboot. There we go. App is running, so let me go back over to the Firefox, refresh. Now I've got my click me. Now, it should still work with not clicked yet changing, and it does. All right. So we've got a button now that does exactly what the button used to do. If there's CSS classes and those things, I'm not doing anything with that yet. Follow me. So, because we're going to want to attribute splat out some of these things later. But, if there's a command now on the button, now let's start to get tricky. Now let's add the command. So let me go back over here. And let's go up to here. Now if there's a command, right? No, I didn't want to go out there. Right. So if we have command name equals foo and command argument equals bar, that should still work. That should still build and just kind of do nothing at this point. Right? Come on. Okay. So now, instead of on click, I want to do on command. Because on click isn't actually going to trigger the command. Don't think. Let's go back over here. Part of me thinks it'd be easier to move all of this logic for this on click here. Move this into the class so I'm not dealing with it here. And my on click is just on click. Right? The private, the indirect click handler thing. And have that do the do. Right? Actually do the logic of deciding, well, what event are we actually going to trigger? So let's do this. Protected. What's your name? The Foo Fighters, right? Then why aren't you fighting fools? What's all this mumbo jumbo about music? That's a thing, thrown out. Yeah. You're not wrong, right?
You can do it!
They can fight all the foo. Do it. So let's make this an event callback of type mouse event args. Right, we're going to return that. And let's just call this click. Yeah, because we're going to return something for it to do. Yeah. Thank you. So now let's do that test. Because I need to accept mouse event args on this, don't I? To get it to match the signature. Maybe. What happens if I just change this? Just change this to click. Well, if right, maybe I don't need this then. That could be a thing. Oh, I need to actually put a type, don't I? Let's see, that should work. But it's not actually going to do anything yet. Right? There we go. So maybe I do receive the mouse event args. Right. Mouse event args. That way. Kazuma Kuma!
Kazuma_Kuma just resubscribed for 2 months. Hi.
Hi! Thank you so much for that resub, Kazuma Kuma. I appreciate that. We're going to make a donation to code.org for that. Thank you so much for your support. So let's see here. All right. So now I can actually have this say if I want to check to make sure that I do have a command to fire, and if there is a command to fire, fire that. Right? If on command does not equal null. Yeah, I can do that. There we go. I can say, right, on command. Oh, look at this. Right, it's going to be on command, and I'm going to invoke that. Right. I don't need the question mark in front of it. I'm in index mode. Insert mode. I'm going to invoke. I'm going to pass new event args. Well, hang on. Insert. No sender, but I'm going to pass new. Yeah. Command event args. And I'm going to pass the command name and the command argument. Okay. So now otherwise, right? We should call on click invoke async, right? And pass in those arguments, like that. Does that build? Nope. I'm missing a parenthesis. Ah, right. There. What do we got here? Operator, question mark, cannot be applied to type event callback, event args. Here. We did this before. Rebuild. Come on. 100% sentiment. Look at that. Thank you so much, friends. That is tremendous. No. No bits. No. Find a good one there. Coins. There we go. And it built properly. All right, so now let's go back over, no, here. What did I change there? Oops. No, that's better. All right. Back over here. Looks like the website's running. I don't know if it restarted, though. Positive vibes. Absolutely. So now I still have the button there. When I click it, it still works. But did it actually rebuild? Is it running the new version? Let me force a restart. The bot knew that the build would succeed. Yeah, see that? The bot knows when these things happen. Here we go. Yeah, it's running. So that still works. Okay. Next step. Let's wire up those commands and see if it actually... So command argument, instead of on click, let's add on command equals on command, right? Void on command, object sender, command event args. And let's have the content say command args dot command name. Just make sure that we get that coming through there. Hey, you're supposed to be over there. Okay. See if that works. Rebuild. That should work, right? Come on. Okay. So because I have a command now, it should run the command, and no. We've broken it. What did we break? Unable to set property on command. The error was unable to cast object of type system string to system event handler, blah, blah, blah. Oh. Okay. So let's go back up here. Hey, up here. No. This. There we go. So it's telling me that there should be an @ there. Error, semicolon expected. No. No. And it wasn't. Thank you for the follow. Say. Okay. Cannot convert from method group to bool. What? Line 5, that right there. Let's see. So void on do we go back? Do that? See if we get that. All right, that looks promising. It's still giving me the on click, like the command hasn't been set. Right, it didn't trigger the command. Which tells me that this is null. Okay, okay. We're gonna get this syntax right. And it didn't like that. It's interesting that it's recompiling the entire stack. It's recompiling. Oh no, we're in samples. Okay. So so what if it's this? No, that wasn't even receiving it. What if it's like that? But then it's not receiving the sender and the command args. Thank you for the follow, J-Dishon. Welcome in. Right, because that syntax doesn't work. Right, that doesn't actually receive anything. Oh, now I've done it. Okay, so... Right? Oh, now I've done it. Where's the error? There it is. Unable to cast... Yeah, from string. It sees that as a string, not as a C# thing. So that's why we need to put some sort of a @ sign on this. So if we go back... So we're telling it to fire the on command. Right? I don't think I'm missing... yeah, I've got all the braces there. We're good on that. Right? It doesn't look like it's actually receiving and firing this over here. Console, right line... Command fired. So the on command is a proper action with correct method signature. Yes. So we're delegating to it. It's not triggering it. Hello? There we go. Right, I should be able to write to the console from here. On command. Let's just do a get type on it. Type of. Like that. Right, there goes rebuilding. Bang! What do you mean it can't be found? On command, it's right there. Oh, it's not a type. Huh. Right, let that rebuild, and we should be able to rerun it. I would have seen it running in the tests on the side also. But Greatest Lord asks, are Blazor calculations... Let me put this up, make sure I call this out. Are Blazor calculations faster than JavaScript code? Not quite faster. There is still interpretation going on there. However, you are able to get the full native power of the processor. This is actually happening server side. You can run Blazor on both client and server. So I'm running it on server and passing it down. See logged-in.razor test for an example. Don't need the @ on either. You sure about that? Oh, I'm not inside Linux again. Come on, give me that. There we go. And it's not writing out to the console at all. So why am I not getting it? I'm not getting that thing wired up at all. No. No. You were saying over in, where was it? In, the logged in test. Login controls. Login. Where'd the music go? There it is. Yeah, there it is, on logged in. Is it because it doesn't match the capitalization? Well, be with me. Oh, well, thank you. That sounds like it was being polite. Nope, didn't pick it up. Well, it executed. All right, so it didn't blow up there, but it's still not. I'm not getting the console log. It feels like it's doing this. Right? Like, it wasn't even getting into my click handler. Okay, now it's not doing anything. I'm trying to just... There we go. Right, it feels like it's not calling this. Right, this indirection of click is not happening. No. This, that way. Where the heck am I now? Oh, I closed it. I closed my Vim panel. Rats. No, it wasn't that way. I wanted it. It was on the left. Now, how do I move a panel from one side to the other? On command is in the code behind here. Source. Care about that. Squish that down. Let me see. I was in the button. Recover. Right. Now, how did I open two of those at once? Recover. Now I've got two open. Alright, whatever. Right, so on command. So Garrett's asking, yeah, on command is up here. And there's command name. So this should be visible, right? Because that's public. It's a property. So on command invoke, it should be, if there is a thing, should be invoking it. Right? It should be even executing this, because that on click should trigger it. I'm gonna need to spend some time on this, because that's really confusing. Because that event handler should be, well, I don't know if click is working, right? Yes. Okay. So this button is supposed to be triggered, right? So I click it. It's supposed to call the click method, which does up top there, right? On command, do something. Or trigger the on click that was wired up, if there was an on click. So if I go back over here, and if I say on click equals, right? So I have it failing over. That works. That worked. You know what I wonder? This is going to sound so stupid. No. No, wrong key. Command, and we're going to replace that. Are you kidding? Get rid of that. I have a feeling this is a case sensitivity thing. And without the syntax highlighting, it's not clear to our eyes that that doesn't work. All right, what do we have here? The name bar does not exist in the current syntax. Okay. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. You know what? Let's get rid of. Public string bar equals bar. It does have an on click, but I'm trying to override and go around it. Okay. So it didn't fire the on command, and it didn't log down here either. It jumped right into the click. I think it's hitting the on click instead of actually firing. It's jumping right into this. Right. Right, it should ignore that now. Can I push my code? Asks Gareth. Sure, I can pass it. I can do that. Let's see. Dev Blazor. It's interesting. It's got those two swap files in there. Those SWOs. That's not gonna fly. There we go. Started button component development. There you go. So it's not finding that on command, right? It's not actually doing anything with it. Alan Nitro 17, that's a really long question. I don't have any resources. Paste that over into the channel Discord. We can come back to that later. That's way off topic and not something that I can get into right now. I'm trying to just get this click to fire. I'm trying to get it to delegate, to hand off, so that when the button click happens, right, this triggers this event, and we decide to go do something from there. And console.writeLine should just be a thing that works. Right, if I go back over here, override protected, override void on initialized. The content equals initialized. Console write line initialized, right? That should work. That should totally do a thing. No issue there, and it should just work. Come on. There we go. It's not even writing to the console. Is it writing to this console? Yes, there it is. So I'm clicking this, and it's not writing down here at all. I am in a branch. Yes. I'm in a branch called feature button. So even though this is here, what do you mean it hasn't updated on Git? Sure it has. Just updated it 3 minutes ago. There it is. When the protected click, it's supposed to trigger. Yes. Right? So, right? This is supposed to trigger this click right here. It has onClick.invoke async. Okay, because I had recovered. All right, all right. Here, this. Sure. Attempting to use a delegating method. Am I missing an override? Nah, it's not an override. How's it going, Magus? Hello, hello. I should tell it to ignore those .swo files. Ignore. There we go. Okay. So is it nope, doesn't it like it? Args doesn't exist here. New mouse event args. We do that. It's not an override. This click event that we're creating it's brand new. It's ours. We want a new statement in there, if anything. There we go. And can't tell if it actually restarted the web server or not. Okay, that looks right. So nothing happened. Command fired. It triggered on command. Command fired. The console right line because I'm running server side instead of in the browser. If I was running this with the client side WebAssembly, it would write into the console. It's writing it to the console for the server here. Okay, hang on. Now we're getting somewhere. Now I've got right that on command happened, right? And up here, command fired. That happened as well. Let me go up here. So I set the content. Come on, man. Come on. I'm in insert mode. I don't want to be. Okay, drop that line. Get that rewritten. It's not refreshing the screen after I set it. And I don't want to put a state as changed into that method. There we go. Nope. Command fired. It's definitely saying resetting the content here. I shouldn't have to put state as changed on it. Because I'm setting it on a parameter. That should force, and I'm bringing a freaking sledgehammer at this point, and I shouldn't have to. I say I'm bringing a sledgehammer because I'm forcing this to change. Now it worked. So let me go back over here. All right. Let me get rid of that. And let's see what happens if it triggers one or the other. It should on command should take the priority here. Right? So initialized, good. The command fired. Now if I take the command, the on command out here, right? It should trigger the on click now instead because that's present. Stelzy, I think you have it a little backwards there. Okay, that errored out. Unhandled exception. Button raiser CS line 26. At button click. Alright, so what's happening there in that one? On command isn't a thing. So there it's rebuilding. Initialized. I've been clicked. And if I put it back in, right? Rewrite it. Come on. Reload. And now it picks up and runs the command. Yes, that's what we wanted to work. Oh my gosh. There. I don't don't think it was an override as much as it was we didn't have the capitalization correct on these things. Now, the thing that I'm still hung up on, is over here. Oh, you son of a gun. I shouldn't have to say state has changed when I've modified a parameter. Right? It should refresh where that parameter is being used. Well, the state has changed is required to get it to repaint. Right? If I comment that out, right? It's not going to repaint that part of the screen. See, it didn't repaint it, but it triggered. Right? But modifying a parameter is supposed to have that state remembered. Blazor parameter update? Right? No. Set parameter value. IntelliSense should have helped us pick up the right thing. Yeah. Set parameter. Let's say state has changed. Right, because it should have forced it to update. Right, so you have a parameter, cascading values, state container. I don't want that. No, that's not what I want. That's not what I'm looking for. State as causes the component to be re-rendered. Right, I don't want to do that. The code doesn't create an infinite loop, no. Blazor automatically call state has changed. Something automatically triggers it. I thought it was the parameter. Only event handlers trigger that. Okay. State has changed method is automatically called after a UI element, after a UI event is triggered. After clicking a button element, the click event is raised, and the state has changed method is automatically called to notify the component. So maybe inside of my click event, I need to call it. Right? Get rid of this. I don't want the consumer of the button to have to call it. So maybe over here, after I do one of these things appropriately, we call state has changed here. That feels like it's okay. Right? Because I've hidden it away from, because right, I've built my own event handler here that I'm delegating to, and I'm going through, and it's not necessarily passing along all of that information. Web server is running. Let's retry not Stack Overflow. My page. No, that didn't work. And it is firing, but it isn't. It should have executed this. Let's think through the order of operations. It should have executed that. And then come back down to that. I feel like I'm right there, friends. You know? It's calling it. Should it say not clicked yet? Well, I put a I put an on initialized here. Right, that initialized should go away now. All right, back over here, refresh. Right, not clicked yet. Click it, and over here, command fired. Right. So that is actually. It's called this, but right. Right, I'm trying to get it. I'm chasing events at this point is basically what's happening. And I think we're going to wrap up right after this. Good, that worked. That rebuilt. Over here. Command fired, calling state has changed. So it called it. But I think maybe it only called it on the internal object. And it didn't call it on the top level component that it's within. We're almost there. You want to give this a try, Junicus? But everybody's welcome to give it a shot. It's all free, easy to use, open source. You can download and run on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And we've shown all three operating systems using it. Yeah, Gareth. Might I need to wrap it in invoke async, asks Canhorn. I don't know. That's a good question. Right, I want to update. I don't want to update my component. I want to update the entire page. The invoke async will sync the current running thread to the UI thread, so state changes will get picked up correctly. Okay, but it's not right. I've set a parameter here. And it's not updating that parameter. Right? That parameter is on screen right there. So it's not showing it. It's not showing the update when this fires. But if I do, right, state has changed here. That works. So it's not bubbling that out. Right? That button fires. It's inside of this method, and I'm trying to call state has changed there, but it feels like that's only calling on this component. I'm going to park this for now. No. I didn't want to do that. There we go. Let me check in what I've got here. Not got. Yeah. First pass at button working. There's not too much more that we need to do here. I need to get the command working. I need to pass down all the styles into the button and bubble up that command, which isn't going to be hard. We have a way to bubble that back by passing some state information back and forth to the page as a cascading parameter. But we're going to get into that next time. So thank you everybody for tuning in. We've wrapped this up. Where'd it go? There's Mario. So we've got our button doing a bit of what we need it to do, where it will properly now run the command object and will launch and specify and paint the screen appropriately. Well, it'll trigger the command and pass in the name and arguments appropriately. We could do some error handling around there. We could do some additional nicety around there to make it easier for folks. But I'm just trying to emulate that Web Forms API so we get that same feature. And having to add a state has changed into the mix here is what I'm trying to avoid, and I want to try and figure out while I'm offline here. We got tripped up a little bit with some syntax casing here, and that's mostly because we were in a text editor instead of getting the syntax highlighting that we would have had if we were in a Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, or even a JetBrains Rider. We would have seen that syntax highlighting, and it would have forced us and said, oh, this isn't a real thing on this parameter. But I think we're at a point where a lot of features for this button are going to fall very quickly, and we'll be able to just write that bubble event object so that any containing component or containing page receives that, hey, the command fired and here's the information about the command. That's what I think we're going to work on Tuesday. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate you joining me. This video, like all my other videos, will be available over on the GitHub. Over on the YouTube. Wow, how'd I get that one wrong? You know what I mean?
60% of the time, it works every time.
Oh, okay. Well, it must be one of those 40% of the times that I got it wrong. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. Let me set up, I think we need to raid our friend Suze. Let's do the raid call, and let's raid NoOpCat. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. It's always a lot of fun to write code with you here. If you're a subscriber, grab this first line, copy it onto your clipboard, get ready. If you're not, grab the second line, get ready. We're going to announce ourselves as we go and we visit our friend NoOpCat. I didn't even see what she's working on today. But I know she's over there. I saw her. Thank you so much, friends. And I hope you come back and join me on Tuesday. Take care.